Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. I'm cleaning my mouse straps. It's stiff in here. Oh boy, I can't wait to throw all this out. And yes, I'm gonna throw out all this. You will see, I wrote like there's clams in there. I ain't eating those. There's botulism in the half in there. All that stuff's all gonna go. It's all gonna go. I'm sure some of it's still good, but because of the stuff that was in there, the only thing I'm keeping is the Pepsi because that's from today. But everything else, like I took out moldy stuff out of there. You've probably seen it in the previous videos. Dumped it all. I gotta get all this out of here. No more plastic stuff. Okay, I'll save that for the next. Guys, I'm telling you, like I'll just show you. In case you don't believe me. This thing is full to the top. Yeah. So I should put a strap or something on that. So I started burning some of the huckleberries. I hate the freaking huckleberries because you get burrs on you. You're all itchy. Got a nail in the hand. That's fun. Some good tetanus happening there. I'll let that smolder down, but yeah, burn you damn huckleberries, burn. So got that going on. I'll show you my temporary scrap metal pile. It's just to get. You can see like I put all the stuff together. Got my 2 hot rods there. It's just that once that big pile's gone, boy, that's gonna make a difference. And then clean up on the side there. The idea is just so whenever I do get to it in the next couple of weeks, this is gonna be my scrap metal pile for the big stuff. It's not gonna, it's not gonna stay there for very long because I don't want things. I just cleared that. I don't want things growing through it. Destruction everywhere. Oh yeah, love it. But it's going to be nice to see next weekend when all that, the mattress and the couch and like, there's going to be a whole bunch. If I get like 3 truckloads out of here of stuff, that'd be great. But if I only get like say 1 truckload, as long as I get the big stuff, well, it's probably going to be about 2. Because I got to get that couch out of here and all this insulation. I'm going to have to get some big bags, old dog blanket. Ew. So I can clean all that up. All these boards, I'm going to saw them up. They're all full of nails and everything. I'll just burn them in the burn barrel little bits at a time. There's a big metal step there. I'm going to take this whole laundry thing away. It just, it's just not needed. Now, there is some tin that I could probably use. I don't want the base of like my brother tried to block it off from the animals, but they still got through the step anyway. I'd rather just leave it open and let the air go through it. You know what I mean? Rather than just everything sitting in there rotting. Like you can't seal things up. Ooh, that piece of plastic or is that glass? I think it's plastic. I gotta put it in there. So hey, I'm even getting into this side now. That's mostly my stuff there, but it still just needs to be organized and set up and all that. There's a bed in there too. That see if anybody wants that. If not, it's going. I don't know if they're gonna grab this table and this, but probably not for a little while yet. I'm not even gonna mention it. Because I want the garbage to get out so I can go through all this stuff myself. And then, I'll kind of make the executive decision what they get left to pick through. But the idea is to get rid of that, right? You get rid of that. And then I got to clean up a little bit more there. I think I've done as much as I can outside today. But I did get, like these bags. I want to get these bags out. I did get some of the wood out of there. And that's how I got the old freaking nail in the hand there. It popped up on me and it hit me in the hand just as it came up. Bastard. But you can see I'm getting through. Right? And I'm going to use some of the tin. You can see what I mean. I have to dig the back of the house down. Like, I've got to come out at least 10, 15 feet this way. It's going to be a big job. And just dig the hill down so it's not all the sand is eroded tight to the house and it's up to the siding. Hence why, well, I'll show you. This is probably where the moisture is coming in on the back wall, right? Which, like I said, there's not too many places in here that are really bad, but like that corner right there is my 105-year-old violin sitting in the laundry basket. Like there's a little bit there, but the worst of it is like right here, but that's also where the sand is like touching the base of the it looks way worse on camera than what it actually is. It's actually faded quite. It's dry now, and then of course you got the symbol. So I'm gonna see how much of that I can clean out. It is dry, so that's the good thing. So I'm drying things out, getting things cleaned up. Eventually, maybe I'll cut those pieces out or whatever. Switch that over to here. I'm gonna take another little break. I go at it for about an hour or so, and then I do something else. Like take a break, make videos, give you updates. But my last fun of the day is probably going to be the dishes. Maybe sweep up the floor a little bit more. I forgot to bring garbage bags down with me. But the idea is to get everything as cleaned up as possible. And don't worry, I've already took care of my hand with the peroxide and stuff like that. That stung. That nail really stung. But it didn't go in deep. It just, did a good. Bastard. It didn't bleed much, so more just a flesh wound. Yeah, there we go. Tis but a scratch. So yeah, my goal is to get everything away from the house so I can, or bundle it together. So when I bring the lawnmower down, it's like, oh, I can't do that whole section because there's stuff like 5 feet from each other. Where it's like if you just bundle it all together, at least, when it goes away, if there's long grass here, I could just get it with the whippersnipper, right? So, I did some raking. It's going to take a long time to get rid of the brush piles. It's probably just best to burn them. You know what I mean? Like, there's just going to be so much of it. And anything big enough to burn, I'll actually, once I get the woodshed started cleaning out. Like, I have to clean out in here before I tackle the woodshed, but I got to clean here, this floor, and the basement before I do anything else, right? Because that's the priority. And we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Slow but sure. A lot of kind of like, okay, do it, like, should I put this here, put this there? Don't overthink it. Okay, I'll just bundle everything together. Because right there is actually the best spot for all that junk, because you can back the truck right up to it, toss it on, no problem. Whatever I can get fit in there. But I'd like to get the insulation. The main thing is that big bundle in front of the door gone. The couch in there gone, just because it takes up so much room in there, getting in and out of it, past it, right? Get all that gone and whatever else, and that insulation gone. If I only get that done this season, and then in the spring have everything, another pile to go, whatever. Like, I'm probably going to be making piles rather than trying to on the fly figure out what I got to get rid of. So round one is just get rid of the big stuff, right? And once it's gone, the outside of around the house will be clean in that sense. Like the door, I'm going to put it over with the metal pile because, it's got scrap metal on it. Now, sometimes they don't like taking the doors because the doors have insulation and stuff in them. But the way we look at it, it's scrap metal. But I could also take that door as, you say, for what I get for scrap metal, because like someplace, we're going to deduct $20 from your load because you threw the door in there and that has insulation. They don't. A lot of scrap metal places don't take Selkirks because there's anything with insulation in it. That's why they don't take trailers, right? They'll take cars, but they don't take trailers, right? Because of all the insulation, you just can't, you can't make. It'd be too much work, cleaning it up to make any money off of it. That's why they don't take it, right? So maybe I'll put the door with the pile, and we'll just, it'll go to the large waste pickup because they'll take it no matter what. So, yeah, maybe I'll do that, and then it'll be all gone next week. I don't see me doing a scrap metal run before October. I got to get everything ready up there for the scrap metal run. Got to get everything ready down here for a scrap metal run. And I'd like to make a really good one. Like, I'd love to be able to take 2 tons. That'd be about $280, so 140 from myself, 140 from my buddy. Or if I sweet talk my buddy into lending me the little trailer till I get everything cleaned out, that would be great. The little 4x8 trailer, that thing can carry a ton. It's you probably see me. If you go back far enough on the channel, you'll see that trailer. All the like they're all my buddy's trailers. But remember the one I was going to buy called Scrappy? That was the 5x10, which he has gotten rid of that one. So he only has the big 18 footer and that little 4x8. But the 4x8 trailer, it's like really well built and everything like that. I've hauled like, you know, a lot of metal, like a lot of metal with that, right? So the thing about it is that that even if I have to make 4 or 5 trips with my dad's truck, that's the thing into the scrapyard. I don't know if my dad will like that or not. I really don't, because if I want to get a flat tire with his truck, right? Because those tires are not cheap. They're 20-inch rims, right? So yeah, yeah, do not want to be doing that. But I think the thing is to sweet talk them into, yeah, but the yard gets cleaned up there. You know what I mean? Um, Same like with the bricks when I bring the bricks down, but I can't bring the bricks down until I clean out where the garden was because I'm gonna have to lay them on the ground a certain way. So there's lots of work to do, lots of projects, but the main thing is just to get the stuff gone. The stuff in the barns, like I can clean that up over a millennia. It doesn't matter, as long as I make it spot for my chickens and pigs and stuff like that for next year. That's fine, right? And I might even be building new structures like a chicken coop or whatever, rather than try to salvage the old stuff, right? Because the old chicken coop is completely dilapidated. I'm going to tear it down. Once I clear around the barns, you'll see all like anything that's like completely dilapidated. It's probably safer just to take it away, and then build a new, like a pig pen takes you 2 seconds to build. You know what I mean? Chicken coop takes you 2 seconds. You can buy them. You can buy like little chicken coops. There's 3 chickens you can put in here. Okay, good enough. Meat birds. Okay, meat birds need a little bit more space. Um, but again, easy enough to take care of. You know what I mean? So my goal for that is next year, and I can't really plan out where everything's going to go until I fall all those trees and clear out all that brush. But before I even worry about that, I got to get like the eyesores out of here. Um, it's not going to take long. It's just it's kind of one of those hurry up and wait things. So you got to wait for your garbage days. You got to wait for your large waste pickups a couple of times a year. So the idea is to have everything ready to go for like when I really get into the woodshed there. There's tons of stuff in there to throw out. But anything metal can go, make my metal pile. And once I have about a ton or more, sweet talk my dad, sweet talk my buddy, say, hey, can I borrow the truck? Can I borrow the little trailer? And then probably no problem doing that. Or if my buddy's doing a metal run anyway, like I don't mind going halves with him. Again, it's more to clean it up than to make money off of it. So but if we can both make money off of it, that's good too, right? And it's not like I have to go far with the scrap metal. Now, like I say, with the scrap metal, once I get like all the trees down, like then it's like okay, I could take that stove, the hot water tank, all that stuff, you know, just clean out all the barns and all the old, just all the old metal that's there that no one's ever going to use. Uh, just get rid of it. You know what I mean? Just get rid of it. There's like old pieces of tin, like little chunks that are, like oh, we might use it for something. Just get rid of it. You just get rid of it. You're not going to use it. Get rid of it. I don't think like the cleanup around here is going to take me as long as I thought. But the thing is that I do have to get uh, do a little bit of something with that back wall, even if it's not much. But getting down like clean in the back there, that's going to take a while. I'm going to research sharpening the blade on the brush cutter. I mean, I've done a pile of brush with it so far. I've done a lot. So usually you get you get a day out of it, and then you got to sharpen it up again. You know what I mean? When you start hitting the trees that are a little bit too big, or you nick a rock, it's like any chainsaw or anything like that. It gets it gets beat up a bit. So but I do want to get the proper files. So the next time I go to the still shop, I'll get the proper files for it. Get the other one that's meant for the raspberry briars, because if that's how fast I can go with the round one, I can imagine I'd be like a lightning rod in there with the actual briar blade. That one, I can't wait to use that one. Like it's gonna be neat. And then just gotta watch I don't hit too big of saplings with it. And do like I did with the freaking piece of board there. I mean, I sunk that blade in there a good 2.5 inches. Like it was when I nicked the poor cedar there. Oh, I nicked it pretty good. It's like, oh, I didn't want to do that. So maybe around the cedars, maybe I'll just use the pruning shears. Because the cedars are pretty delicate, and I don't want to kill them. But like I want to get all the like they don't look like when you look at them. You have to. It takes a second to realize that these are actually kind of big trees. They're awfully close to the house too. That oak tree, that oak tree. If I was only going to keep one of the trees, it'd be obviously the apple tree. Okay, with the apple tree as the exception, I'd keep the oak tree. But if I kept three trees, it would be the apple tree, the what you call it, the black walnut, and the oak tree, and then maybe one lilac bush. The cedars, I mean, they're nice, but they're kind of in a bad spot. You can't see. They, like I mean, I'll keep them, but if they say if you cut them down if you want, we don't care if the rest of the family doesn't care about it. I'll think about it because, like, I mean, like I tell all my clients, I said, well, if it's a tree you're not sure about, take a week or two to think about it because I can cut them down, but I can't put them back. You know what I mean? Like those trees are like 25 years old. Like like you're when they're down, they're down. You know what I mean? They're gone. But would I rather have the yard space or just well pruned? Like I'm going to prune them and all that stuff first and make my decision from that because it's like once it all looks good, it's like, oh, it is kind of nice to have that. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's just one of those things that you got to kind of, like you got to really think about stuff like that. Dropping the low branches that are going to knock me off the lawn tractor while I'm riding, get the branch in the base. Yeah, I got to prune those back. And yeah, my pole arm chainsaw is going to get a good workout here for sure. There's no doubt about that. Getting all that stuff knocked back is going to be good. Every power, every like my chainsaws, I'm gonna probably. I don't think I'll go through a chain here, but probably on the small saw I'll go through a chain here. And you guys have to understand, like, for me to go through a chain, okay, I can make the worst chain last forever. Like it's I know how to keep a chain going on the big saw. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take it in at the end of the season or the chain and say, okay, so like it's $12 or something, 11, $12 to get the chain reground. So it's the factory chain. It's still good. I'll use it till there's like barely a tooth left to sharpen on it. Okay, put the factory hone back on, and then I'll sharpen up through the season and just until it wears out in the track of the bar. I do want to get a second bar for that. I want to get two more bars. I want to get another 20-inch bar and an 18 for the saw, maybe this year, if not this year, next year, for the big saw. A spare bar for the little saw. I don't care if that saw starts cutting crooked or whatever and wear out with a worn out bar. But I want to get the bar roller that, when your bar starts to flatten out a bit too much and the groove starts to open up too much. That's why one thing I used to do, and I do not do anymore, and I see guys doing it, they'll grab their scrunch and the screwdriver part of the scrunch, they'll use it to clean the slot in the bar. But it widens it out, and then your chain goes wonky on you. And you'll wear out your chain faster, but you're also going to start to cut crooked. You need that channel out of perfect so that the chain stays straight, right? It's a guide, right? So you got to, a lot of people don't think about that. But there is a roller thing you can do. It will reset the groove for you. It's got like two roller bars on it. You tighten it up to where it's supposed to be, and you just pull it down the bar a few times, and a bar that you might get 2 years out of, now you get 5 years out of. I don't know. I'm good at making the bars and chains last a long time. Did I buy a new bar for? I did. No, I didn't. I only bought a new chain for that one, for Sasquatch and or sorry, Ninja Shark. Yeah, Ninja Shark. I bought him just a new chain, and he was still cutting straight. He was starting to cut crooked, but that if I get that roller thing, I'd probably put that bar back to spec. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know cutting that hard stuff, whatever that tree is, it's almost like ironwood. It's not a I don't know what it is. It never gets big. Like the biggest it might get is like that, but it's always in a bushel, and they're all over the place. And those things, they'll dull the saw. My chain, I sharpened it after I tackled that stump. I mean, I did a bore cut on that stump, and I hit a couple of probably rocks and stuff in there too. Like that's the thing about stumps, is but like that stump was like hard as a rock. It was like really really hard. So uh, it was hard. That was hard on the chain. So it'll probably take about 2 or 3 more sharpenings before it's back to cutting like a maniac again. Uh, you know that kind of stuff. But yeah, once I really get into the sawing angle of things, or that's after I've got like the base, like all the briars gone and stuff like that, where I can really see where I'm dropping stuff. Because like those branches there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let them dry out a bit before I burn them, right? So it's just like, yeah, pull it out, and okay, maybe I'll zip a couple of little mini because I don't have the stove yet, but it all burns, right? So it's like, okay, well, it's free wood, it's just, is it worth the gas to cut it up? Like that small, for like little, stuff like. So anything like that bigger, I'll usually keep, but the rest would just burn it. you know, um, because I got a black cherry about the size of that we cut up there because it broke and it died. Dad cut it down, and he says, "Yeah, yeah, go take that for stovewood if you want." Um, so I'm gonna cut that one up in the fall, and like I'll bring it back. Well, once I have the woodshed cleaned out, I'll bring it back and I'll put it in there, and like that's all that I want in there is like basically wood, like 20 quarter wood in there, whatever, and maybe okay, maybe a spot for some bicycles or whatever, and then maybe next year, the year or the year after, I'll prepare to knock it down, completely take it away, level it up a bit on the ground, and then I'll keep the tin or whatever. And what I'll do is I'll just build a like an open lean-to, just a wood for wood, that would work very well. So I could do that. Uh, well, it all depends on what happens with this place, right? Like, like if they're like, oh no, we're never going to sell it to you, for whatever reason. I think they would, but like, that's why I'm not going to put any money into the place. But if I bought the place too, and mainly I'm buying it for the property, right? It was about 2 acres because the barns aren't really worth anything. The house isn't really worth anything. You know what I mean? Like it's. I mean, it's worth something, but it's just not worth very much. So whatever they'd be willing to sell it to me for, if they would be willing to sell it, and again, I'd have to be able to afford it. I'm 52 years old, so it's like you'd only be able to ask like pennies on the dollar for me. Otherwise, I'm rent it till I die. But if I rent it till I die, if I had to spend the rest of my life in this home, I mean, it would be as long as I could keep the upkeep of it. It's actually not a bad home. You know what I mean? Bang for the buck. I'll do well no matter what. Um, but to get the property, like my aunt's gonna like go to the top of the hill there at one point. She's gonna look down. Oh, hey, I can see the bridge a bit better. Just wait till I clear out that whole corner. I'll probably start on that side. I'll probably clear that out just for her. Like whether I do it now or I do it later, I might as well do it now, and she'll get the view, and stuff like that, and that'll mean a lot to her. So, it's like to be able to sit on the swing at the top of the hill and just watch the bridge or whatever. And it doesn't matter if I clear that first or I clear the barns first, or what I mean. It's all got to be done, right? So the only thing that's really priority is we're in September, halfway through September. This place has to have the windows sealed up on the outside, the windowsills sealed because it's just wood. They're not, the paint is, gone because that's where some leaking is coming. It's actually just coming seeping through the wood, and then getting the pickaxe and clearing down to the cinder blocks on the back of the house there. That's like outdoor kind of top priority to have that done before the end of October. I didn't bring down my pick today, but maybe tomorrow I'll bring down the pick and just start on it. Just to see what I'm going to be up against. It's going to be hard to take it out because it's all roots, but I got a brand new pick with the the pick part is for like ripping out like breaking like roots, but the other part is like for cutting and chopping, right? It's like taking your axe and just turning it sideways, and it digs and cuts at the same time. And if I can get at least down so that the sand and everything is not right up to the base of the house, because if memory serves me, I mean, we're talking a long time ago. When I was a kid, the back of the house, I do remember the back of the house being, much higher up above the sand, but the hill just erodes into it, right? So what's happened is here's your siding, here's your cinder blocks. Usually you have about 1.5 2 feet there, right? So but what's happened is the hill and the sand is, washed in over the years, and it's come up to the bottom of the siding. Hence why it's leaking through the wall, right? So in some spot the sand might be higher than the actual foot plate of the house. You know what I mean? So like, no, you got to lower that down, buddy. You know what I mean? So I'd like to take it down. I don't know how many cinder blocks are there. Like if it's down 2 blocks, like this side of the house is all basement, and it's like a full basement, but the other side's just a crawl space. So maybe my grandfather only put in 2 cinder blocks, maybe he put in 3. I don't know what he did. Maybe it's just like 1 layer of blocks around. Well, okay, not going to be much I can do with that, but at least I can get it down. Just like I'll be clearing it out every 2 years or whatever. So it's going to be an ongoing thing until I get it settled. And then, but if it's like 3 blocks, well, I can tar it, seal it up, put the kick plate on it, put down some crushed stone, say come out 2 feet, go down 2 feet, 6 inches, put in your weeping tile, another 6 inches, you can put in a second weeping tile if it's, it's really, see how it leaks. And then, like just actually, if I can get my dad to rent tobacco, get my dad just to level out the back of the hill a bit, you know what I mean? And just like take it back 20 feet so that when the snow melts, it's not just running straight in, like get it, slope it so it runs that way, away from the house, right? Because I think that's what my dad said it used to do before. It used to run that way, but it's just, ground's always changing, right? So if I had to do that once a decade, that'd be fine. As long as I can keep most of the water from running in the basement. A little bit's not too bad, but like none is better, right? And yeah, it'll cost me a little bit of money, but it's not going to cost me like $20,000. It's going to cost me maybe like to do the back wall, maybe about $1,000 or something like that, maybe $1,200. Okay, I could save that up. Okay, maybe I do one $1,200 project a year in this house. What changes, right? That's big changes for this house. The roof's done. The only thing I'm going to do with the roof is maybe go up there next season with the tar and a fresh bag of screws, and because it's been about 15, 20 years since well, my grandmother passed away in 2013, or my mom passed away in 2014, grandmother 2013 or 2012, and my aunt the year before that. So the roof was done a year or 2 before my grandmother passed away. So that's, it's not 20 years, I know that, since the roof has been done. But the roof is, other than the fact that the house is, wobbly, The roof looks like it's brand new. You know what I mean? So the grommets would be probably, like you go up there, pull out a screw, put in a new screw, pull out a screw, put in a new screw, and then if you really want to seal it up, you can get that. It looks horrible, but you can get the tar paint and just go around it. I've done it for a few people around here where, they don't replace the screws; they just get me to go on the roof and do the tar paint, whatever. I don't go on roofs as much anymore because of you know the state of things. You fall off the roof. You know what I mean? Like healthcare is not what it was. If I can't work, like I'm done for. You know what I mean? That's how fragile life is, right? So, especially in this day and age. So, I only go on a roof if I know I can get away with it. But this one shouldn't be too bad. As far as the insulating the attic, again, like I had all these ideas of what I was going to do as soon as I moved in here. But there's also a part of me that says, well, wait and see what you're up against first. You know what I mean? Like that's the more common sense way to do it. Never rush to do things. Like if I have to go through a winter a little bit colder, but then okay, figure out where the cold is coming in and deal with that, and maybe that might be a better than just throwing insulation in the attic, thinking that it might solve a problem where the problem is not. You know what I mean? But I'm sure it does need new insulation up there for sure. The old stuff, yeah, I think that's what's sitting out on the yard there because my dad and my brother did that shredding thing there and the wood, and my dad said it shredded it up too small. That's why you find like mouse shit and that stuff and everything, the insulation and everything, because it's so small. But either. The upside is that it's something that I can deal with. I do have a house fund that like when I've already started like put money away for things that are going to go wrong here because it's a house, right? Something's going to give. I mean, how long is that hot water tank really going to last me? I don't know. So I'm already, maybe it just needs a switch, but it maybe needs more than the switch. Maybe the elements are going. Maybe that's why it keeps kicking off or whatever it's going to be, right? So we'll check that. My brother says it kicks off about every couple of days. It kicks off. Uh, is what it is. The toilet. I noticed that when I turned up the water on the toilet, the pump was kicking on and kicking off a lot more because I guess the toilet keeps running or something like that. So yeah, so like there's little things like that. I sort of made a rain cover for the for the shower and stuff like that, so that helps out a lot. Um, Ripping up the linoleum. Oh yeah, I wanted to rip up that today. Maybe I'll get to do it. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm gonna do the dish. Start doing the dishes again. I want to get that pile off the floor. I forgot to bring garbage bags. Just keep picking away at it. Yeah, all the tape on the walls, all the book tape on the walls. They had these lights that hang in it. They brought them up home. They got these lights hang, these little like Christmas light type of things hanging all over the place. Um, they never shut off lights. That's one thing. I don't know why. I don't know how people are like that where they like they just always have lights on. It's just like it's not good for your sleep habits and stuff like that to have blue light particularly on while you're asleep. Like you do need darkness for your sleep. That's for sure. But they like in the bedrooms they have like these little string decoration lights that they have. It's just like yeah, but you never, you're always in the like it's not healthy light, and you do need you do need to shut lights off and stuff like screens, TV screens, computer screens, cell phone screens. Yeah, like shut all that stuff off when you go to bed. It's not good to have those things on. Studies have shown that. So uh, I won't have stuff like that. I might have some extra lighting brought in for filming and stuff like that for sure. That part I can tell you. But next to that, no, no, it's going to be pretty energy efficient down here. I think. Well, as energy efficient as I can possibly get. That wire, I got to mark those two wires outside. One, I could probably just clip it down a bit more. It's not going to matter. It's not a live wire. But the other one, I think, is still hooked up. And, one thing I could do is turn it, like, because it's such old wiring, I don't want to take any risk with it. Like, what I thought is if I turned it on and it shorted out and kicked the breaker, I'd know which breaker it is. And then I'd know which wire to disconnect, right? But on the other hand, it's like it might burn the wiring before it kicks the breaker, right? So it's like burn down the house. So I really want to track out where that outside light wire where it is on the box, and then what I'll do is I'll cut the power. And my hunch is it's that secondary switch there, and I don't care if the power goes up to that switch and goes nowhere else, right? So it's just like my dad, like I asked him, I said, "Is it that second switch there?" And he wasn't sure. Because it's like me, like I know my grandmother used to get me to turn on that light. It's just I don't remember where I turned it on from. Like did I turn it on from the basement switch or that switch, right? And I'll have to figure that out because all I have to do is, make life really easy. Is that wire, right, would be running from that switch to the outside. So if that's the case, then what I do is I just disconnect it at that switch there, put some Moretz on it or whatever. It'll be safe. And then it'll be a dummy switch. It won't do anything. There'll be power up to the switch, but I could, disconnect that too. And then if I do figure it out, I'll just disconnect it right from the breaker box. And then I don't have to worry about anybody stepping on a live wire out there because that won't be fun. Yeah, so there's like little projects like that. So I'll have to mark out the breaker box because like the new box was put in not that long ago. I think 2 years ago. My brother had that put in, and but the electrician didn't mark it. He just hooked it up and left. Right. So he goes. My brother's like, well, I'll have to come up here, and one guy upstairs flick a breaker. Plug things in and flick a breaker. Okay, and okay, write down this. This room these plugs. Like, there's not that many breakers down there, so it's not going to take long to figure out what goes where. But I got to figure out what goes where. What else I got there? How much time here? Yeah, I know these long form videos. I don't know if you guys are interested in them or not. People seem to be watching them, so I know it's a lot of talking of projects and little, some videos of a little bit of progress. But yeah, like yesterday, I was really happy with what I got done down here yesterday, and today, most of the work that I wanted to get done was outside. Just to start doing stuff, right, and whatever. So like the outside is getting cleaned up around the house. If I am off tomorrow, that'd be 3 days in a row that I've been off. So I was like, I need money. Like I panic. Like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to take a day off. Can't wait to day off. But as soon as I was like a day off, I was like, I need money. Gotta go back to work. But if I can bring down the pick tomorrow, start on that back wall. I'm not going to get it done in a day, not with that much roots there. But just to dig down to see how low the blocks go, and see what I can do temporary to help out that back wall, so that if I can, even if I can't stop the leaking, if I could just slow it down, that it leaks below the basement. Like, okay, it leaks through the crawl space, but then leaks below the basement. But then that'll do a lot. Then like deal with it from the outside first, and then there might not, rather than spending money to try to keep the water out from the inside, it's probably cheaper to divert from the outside, than block it off inside, right? So that's the goal. I'll know whether it works or not by the springtime. The other thing is to make sure that my drain is, completely functioning. Um, my dad has a snake up there, but it only goes like 25 feet. So I can go 25 feet on this end to make sure it's on block. But what has happened is the drain, roots have grown through it, right? So if I can make sure it's clear on this side, clear on that side, but you need like 100 and some odd feet to get the whole way through, and I don't have that, and I don't even think my cousin would have that, and he's a plumber, an electrician, and all that stuff. He does everything, right? So heating, air conditioning, plumbing, you name it. He might have that, but it's just to make sure that the water can get through, so that the basement doesn't back up like it did a couple of years ago on my poor brother, where it backed up like the water was like 2 feet high. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that was there was a lot of water down there. I seen it too. Like, it was like, holy shit. And he had the thrasher pump going, but he couldn't stay ahead of it. It was like thousands of gallons that come off that. And like I say, when it rains, there's probably about 3,000 gallons of water that just running off the roof. So eventually, I do want to put eavesdropping that kind of go downhill. So rather than the rainwater sitting in front of the house as much, I mean the groundwater is going to sit there, but like the monsoon coming off the roof won't sit there and create a false water table, which then leaks into the basement. So we'll see what happens, but and then in the winter, what I'm going to do is try to keep the snow off the back wall as much as possible during the like say like middle of March or whatever. Go out there and just start digging. Like I'll stay on top of it the whole winter, like the best I can. So get a snowstorm, take the snow off the side of the house the best I can, so that when it comes time for it to melt, that it's, I'm shoveled back 20 feet. So again, by the time it runs to the house, it's already running either the other way or diverting the other way or whatever. So like the idea is to get it so that it just doesn't come into the house, right? And I think there is ways to do that. So I might have to put a piece of tin in the ground just as a runoff. But I think most of the water is not coming from the stuff on the top. I think it's the stuff that's running through on the bottom, like through the ground. That's what I think. But again, until I get into the crawl space with a flashlight, because I know I've seen daylight on the corner of the house over there. So that definitely got to get that one that corner sealed up. That's probably where all the mice are coming in too. Like it's be like a like like a huge door for them. Yeah. If mice can get in there, so can other things. So, what else did I want to talk about today? Mm, I don't know. I don't think I have too much else. Well, I guess I better get back to it. Do some dishes, get some stuff off the ground. That'll be again at Monday on, and then the following Monday, like it's gonna like all the junk is gonna be out of here. Especially once I get the recycling bin emptied. I'm sure there's gonna be like tons of stuff in the woodshed to throw into the recycling, but that doesn't matter because it's out there, right? The stuff on the veranda, aka my garage, like that's why I haven't brought down all my tools and stuff. I bring down like one box a day, like I just don't come down empty handed. So I'll just bring something with me, right? But I don't want, I don't want to be cluttering things up while I'm trying to clean either. So like the tools and stuff are once my brother goes through the clothes on the veranda. The thing about that is that oh yeah, that's right. There's still one more thing to throw out on the veranda too. I forgot about that. Yeah, once that one's out, I'm still gonna see if maybe somebody else wants it because it is like if it was cleaned up like that what you call it the living room table thing, like TV stand, whatever you want to refer to it as. That thing, if it was cleaned up, it actually wouldn't look too bad, and maybe somebody might want it. I'll give it to them for free. I don't have to make any money off of it. I might keep the glass off of it because I might be able to make something with the glass. If but once that's off the veranda, like that's going to free up a lot of space for me. Once they take their table, but all that stuff, I want to go through it to see what I can get rid of. But until the garbage bin is empty, and the recycling bin is empty, like I don't care if they don't come down to get that stuff for another couple of weeks. But I think they were saying they were missing some winter coats and stuff. So, uh, like, and there's like baby clothes in there, so like all that stuff can just be chucked out. So like I'll go through it for them and say, okay, well, all the baby clothes I put in other bags, I'll just chuck them out. Like they're too dirty to risk selling it to somebody else's kid. You know what I mean? Like, we'll just throw them out. I'll make the executive decision on that. The other thing is, like all those old shoes and stuff like that. Like, they're all full of dog hair and all that stuff. I'd rather I went through it and sorted it out for them, and then they can just say yay or nay what they're going to keep, rather than drag it up there and then have to go through it later because it's going to sit there, with all those smells and everything like that. And whether my brother puts the stuff in the woodshed till he gets at it or not, it could sit there for, you know what I mean? I think I've already proven to you guys that my brother wasn't taking care of a lot of stuff down here, and neither was she. So things just piled up. So rather than letting them take the trash up there, I'll just make the executive decision. Oh, I threw it out. I just won't tell them. You know what I mean? So that's the big one is to get everything sorted out so that, okay, yeah, the winter coats, they obviously need that. But which one do they want to keep? What they do, what I mean? Like, I don't know what they want to keep, but that stuff, it might only fit in a couple of bags, where the rest of the stuff could just be chucked out and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I guess I'll start the dishes now. Yeah, I'll be like my nephew. Oh, do I have to? He's not too bad. I got him doing the garbage. Oh, I got him good last night. I grabbed a garbage bag and something else, and he grabbed a garbage bag, and I'm teaching him how to tie the garbage bag properly and all that. And so we bring it down to the garbage. I show him which one. I'll do it with him a few times, and then I'll send him down there by himself. Once I know like he's ready to do it by himself. But like the idea is the encouragement that it's like, oh no, don't worry, I'll do it. That's what I'm trying to get him to do, right? But he's not there yet. So like, because he's learning new habits, right? But he opened up the thing, and I was about 10 feet back, and I started getting, oh, and he was face right over the bin, and he was gagging the whole way up the road. I was laughing at him so hard, and he was like, "Oh my god, that was so bad." He goes, "I'm gonna be sick." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You gotta hold your breath when you throw the bag in." I said, "There's all garbage juice at the bottom." Oh, it got him good, and it was rank. Like, yeah, he was coughing and gagging the whole way up. We laughed about it, but it was like, oh, it got him good. So it was like, it was funny. It was pretty funny. So I'm like, okay, well, is what it is. You just have to watch out for that. So, like, I'll be like when we do the garbage together, we do the dishes together. Like, the idea is to get him used to doing it so that, like, he doesn't put up a fuss, but he's still a kid, right? So kids are like, oh, do I have to? Like, they don't want to do it, but once he starts doing it, we have fun when we're doing it. So the idea is to make him maybe not look forward to doing it, but just to be like, not even give it a second thought and just do it on his own, kind of thing. Like, always tell him, oh, thanks for your help, whatever. Grandpa really appreciates that, so I appreciate it. Grandpa appreciates it. So the idea is so that he develops that habit of keeping clean, right? And not letting garbage build up and stuff like that. So, like, when I get down here and I start burning the brush, I'll bring them down here. And, like, I don't expect them to work a day, but, come down for half an hour, 45 minutes, help me with this. And it just, get the skills, get into the routine of doing stuff like that. So, when he gets older, he just does it, you know and I'm proof positive of that. That's the way I did it. That's the way I learned. Um, like my grandfather, you'd go back in the field. Oh, you want to come back with me? But you're gonna have to help me. like I was like 5, and grab some blocks of wood and throw them, like get them up into the wagon, the old rickety wagon that he had, stuff like that. And I'd do maybe about 10 blocks and go, oh wow, you did it. Oh, you're gonna be a big strong man now. Encourage you, right? But like you think about it, it's like, okay, I probably slowed him down because he worked in the bush all his life, right? So I was probably slowing him down. But the idea, he had the patience enough to know that, well, teach him how to, work a bit. You teach me how to, use the axe to chop the wood and stuff like that. My dad taught me that. My uncles taught me that. My grandfathers taught me that, and stuff like that. So now you wonder why I run around like a madman with chainsaws and, and brush cutters and stuff like that. Pole arm saws. Pole arm saw videos are gonna be fun, I think. I gotta watch it go drop branches on top of my own head. But to your answer, I think I already answered. But yeah, no, I work boots. Working with that stuff, work boots, eye protection, hearing protection. I got my my chainsaw helmet with the ear protectors. I don't work without. I always wear anti-vibration gloves or some sort of gloves. No, that like okay, yeah, the bike. I don't have a good helmet. I will get one. But the thing is I don't take chances any more than I have to. Like for example, especially around here, like I already got a nail in the hand today. Cleaning that up, like my dad said, don't go into that brush pile without work boots on. With the steel shank, because there's boards and nails all over the place down there. Like when my brother took it apart, he dealt with a good proportion of it, but the rest got grown over before he could deal with it, and that's what's in there now. Because it was like an all enclosed area, like between the veranda and the woodshed, right? Like I know I've been picking on my brother throughout this series and stuff like that, but he did do a lot of work down here. Credit where credit's due. He did do a lot. He just got overwhelmed with it because there was so much to do, right? And not having the right tools and all that. Like I mean, he took down that whole section by hand with a hammer. You know what I mean? Like I would have had to saw it down and with the chainsaw or whatever. So I mean that's a big job for one guy. And stuff like that. But when he got it over, like he had to bust it up by hand and try to get rid of it that way. And then by the time he got to that part, like it was already grown over and he couldn't find it. Right? It's like he goes, like he knew it was in there somewhere. But now, getting that mattress out of the way just so I can get in there with the pruning shear so I can get close to the walls because I don't want to hit the walls with the blade any more than I have to. Like it's not good for the house, it's not good for the blade, and it'll slow down progress. Although that blade on that brush cutter is holding up pretty darn well, I gotta say that. Yeah, I'll have to wrap this one up and get my ass in gear, and maybe for the next hour, see what I can clean up inside. I did a fair amount outside, so not as much as I would have liked to done, but I've already gotten more things done this weekend than I anticipated. I thought I was only going to have one day to work this weekend, but I ended up because I was talking to the electrician there this morning about the ground wire I got to put in for my other client, and he goes, "Yeah, just do it." I said, "Nice line you got on the ground there." He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I try to map it out so you weren't going to be too close to the trees and have to dig through roots and stuff like that." But he goes, "If you could just get it down to here, here, and here," he goes, "the only place is really where it crosses the road. Try to get that this deep." He goes, "Everything else, just go from the corner of the house right to the other corner of the building." He says, "I'll be happy with that." And I said, "Okay, well," I said, "I'll do it, and I'll call you and let you know when it's done so you can go in right away, put the wire in, and then I can go back either the next day or whatever and bury it. So, if it rains or something, it doesn't just get all washed away, and then you got a little bit of a gully there, so that kind of stuff. That's why I didn't do it yesterday, because my client's like, well, we're not going to be able to deal with the electrician for another 2 weeks or so. Hold off on digging that because, if it rains, it'll all fill in, and you know what I mean? So I understand what he was getting at, because it's kind of one of those things, when you deal with it, you got to kind of just like deal with it. So you got to coordinate jobs like that too. And it'll be the same here, like you deal with it, you just got to kind of deal with it. So like getting all the 2x4s and all that structure, out where I could look at it, cut it up with the chainsaw, burn it off. I mean, some of it I could probably get up to the large waste pickup, but I'm not going to hang on to it for like, another 6 months till the next large waste pickup. I'm just going to cut it up and burn it, and get rid of it, dry it out, pile it up, dry it out, cut it up, burn it, right? And just, because I can deal with it right away, you know what I mean? And then it's done with, right? And once I get all around the woodshed completely cleaned up, then I can really get in there safely with the brush cutter and the whippersnippers and stuff like that, and same in the back of the house. Once that's all leveled down, that's all going to be, if I can't get in there with a riding mower, I'll at least be able to get in there with the whippersnipper or the push mower. And that's because I know there is rocks there around the rose bushes. There's an old tree stump there. There used to be a big Manitoba maple in the back, a couple of giant ones in the front. They got cut down years and years ago, but the stumps are still there. I'm good at removing stumps. That's one of the main reasons why I bought my pick, is so that, once the stump is rotten, you can just rip it out, level off the ground, and Bob's your uncle, you know what I mean? The big tree there that's dead, that Manitoba maple, I wanted to fall that one this weekend, but I'm like, okay, no, that one's it's not going to go anywhere, so I'll wait till I get everything else done and do that last. So I might do that one, say, mid-October or whatever, once I know I got the place sealed up for the winter, ready to go. Dealt with the back wall a bit, got everything cleaned up, most of the trash out, out of the, the woodshed, got cleaned up around the woodshed, fall a few more trees, whatever. Then I'll deal with that one, because that one I want to leave it pretty high so that when I do fall it, I'm going to have like I'm going to carve something in the remaining stump, right? So it should be pretty cool. I'll leave that for years, and then maybe I'll varnish it or whatever. Do like the wood burning on it. So it's gonna be cool anyway. But I don't know if I'm gonna do the wood spirit guy or a bear or a gnome, maybe all of the above. I don't know. I'll have to watch Chainsaw Jenna for her carvings to see see what she can inspire me to do. You know what I mean? Her channel's pretty cool. I haven't seen anything from her in a while, but her carvings are just absolutely amazing. Yeah. So anyway. All right, I gotta go do my dishes. I want to put my change on. Do the dishes. All right. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Have yourselves a great one.